Most surgeons will tell you that poor leg circulation and chronic swelling are among the most common complaints they hear from patients over the age of 60. And most of those patients have been told the same thing. It's just part of getting older. Learn to live with it. But after years in the operating room and decades of working with patients on their recovery and their long-term mobility, I'm here to tell you that is simply not the full picture. Because here is the exciting truth that most people never get told by their doctor. You can dramatically improve blood flow in your legs and reduce that heavy, swollen, tired feeling in just minutes a day, without any special equipment, without any medication, and without needing to be particularly fit to start. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3-3-1-0 method, 3 targeted exercises done in 3 specific positions for 3 sets of 10 repetitions each. This is a simple, structured routine I have recommended to my own patients for years, and it is specifically designed to keep your legs feeling light, strong, and healthy, especially if you are over 60. And before we get into the exercises themselves, I want to take a few minutes to explain exactly why leg circulation tends to get worse as we age, because once you understand the mechanism, these exercises are going to make complete sense to you, and that understanding is what will keep you consistent with them. So let's start with the biology, because it is genuinely fascinating, and I think it will surprise you. When most people think about blood flow, they think about the heart pumps, and blood moves. That's the picture. But that picture is incomplete, especially when it comes to your legs. Here is what is actually happening inside your circulatory system right now. You have 2 main types of blood vessels, arteries and veins. Arteries carry fresh, oxygen-rich blood from your heart, down through your body, and out to your legs and feet. Your muscles and tissues use that oxygen to do their work, everything from walking to standing to holding yourself upright. Once the oxygen has been used up, it is the veins that carry that spent, deoxygenated blood back up from your legs to your heart, where it gets refreshed with oxygen again and recirculated. Now here is the critical part, the part that explains everything that happens to your legs as you get older. Your arteries have a relatively easy job. Blood flows down from the heart with gravity on its side, and the force of the heart's contraction pushing it along. But your veins have a much harder job. They have to push used blood back up from your feet and calves and thighs, all the way back up to your chest, against gravity. And here is the thing that most people do not realize. Veins do not have their own independent power source to do that job. They cannot push blood upward on their own. They rely on something else entirely. They rely on what we call muscle pumps. Here is how muscle pumps work. Every time the muscles in your legs contract, whether from walking, shifting your weight, flexing your ankle, or any kind of movement, those muscles squeeze the veins that run through and alongside them. That squeezing action compresses the veins, which pushes the blood inside them upward. And the veins have one-way valves built into them, small flaps of tissue that open to let blood move upward and then close to prevent it from falling back down. So every muscle contraction in your legs is essentially a small pumping action, gently pushing blood up toward the heart in a series of short, assisted pulses. When you are young and physically active, this system works beautifully. Your leg muscles are strong, they contract frequently throughout the day just from normal movement, and blood circulates efficiently up and down your legs with no pooling and no swelling. But here is what happens as we age, and this is where it gets important. As we get older, a few things change simultaneously. Our muscles, particularly in the calves and shins, begin to lose mass and strength through a process called sarcopenia, which is the age-related loss of muscle tissue. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association has shown that adults can lose between 3 and 5% of their muscle mass per decade after the age of 30, and that rate accelerates after 60. Weaker muscles mean weaker muscle pumps. The squeezing force your legs can generate around your veins decreases. At the same time, many older adults become less physically active, whether from joint pain, fatigue, balance concerns, or simply from spending more time sitting. And sitting is particularly problematic for circulation. When you are seated with your feet flat on the ground, your calf muscles are essentially inactive. There is no muscle contraction happening, so there is no pumping action. Blood in the leg veins is not being pushed upward. It is simply sitting there, pooling in the lower legs under the force of gravity. And while blood is pooling in the veins, fluid from those veins can begin to leak into the surrounding tissue because the pressure inside the pooled veins becomes higher than normal. That leaked fluid is what causes the swelling and puffiness around the ankles and lower legs that so many seniors experience by the end of the day. It is not a disease in itself. It is a mechanical consequence of reduced muscle pump activity combined with the effects of gravity over hours of sitting. Additionally, the vein walls and the one-way valves inside the veins become less elastic and less efficient with age. The valves that are supposed to prevent backflow can weaken, a condition called venous insufficiency, which means blood can fall back downward slightly between muscle contractions, making the upward journey even less efficient. I want you to think about your legs like a water system in a building. Imagine that the arteries are the main supply pipes bringing fresh water in, and the veins are the drainage pipes carrying used water back out. In a young, active body, those drainage pipes have strong pumps running constantly, keeping the water moving efficiently. But as we get older and less active, those pumps weaken and slow down. Water starts to back up in the pipes. Pressure builds behind the walls. Eventually, if nothing is done, the system starts to leak. That leaked water pools at the lowest point, which in the case of your legs, is your ankles and feet. The 3-3-1-0 method is designed to reactivate and strengthen those pumps. Every exercise in this routine targets the leg muscles that are most directly responsible for venous return, the process of pushing blood back up to the heart. And the 3 different positions we use, seated with legs elevated, lying down with legs raised above heart level, and standing on a step, each target those muscles from a different angle and at a different level of intensity, giving you a complete graduated approach that works regardless of your current fitness level. Now, there is one more thing I want you to understand before we get into the routine, because I think it will change the way you think about movement throughout your day, not just during exercise. A study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology examined what happens to blood flow in the legs during prolonged sitting. What the researchers found was striking. Even in healthy young adults, sitting still for just 90 minutes produced measurable increases in stiffness of the femoral artery and detectable reductions in blood flow velocity in the lower leg. In older adults with already compromised circulation, those effects happen faster and are more pronounced. Simply sitting still for extended periods, which is something many seniors do for hours at a time, is one of the most significant contributors to poor leg circulation outside of underlying medical conditions. What this means is that the exercises I am about to show you are not just a workout you do once a day and forget about. They are a reactivation strategy for a system that is constantly at risk of slowing down whenever you are sedentary. I recommend doing the 3-3-1-0 routine at least once daily, and I also recommend doing brief ankle movement, even just pumping your feet up and down for 30 seconds every hour or so during periods of prolonged sitting. Your legs will thank you for it, all right? Now let's get into the exercises. The 3-3-1-0 routine consists of 3 exercises, each done in a different position, for 3 sets of 10 repetitions each. The whole thing takes between 3 and 4 minutes. You do not need any gym equipment. All you need is a chair, a pillow or 2, and a step or a stair. That is it. Every exercise is safe for seniors, and all 3 can be modified if you have joint pain, balance issues, or limited mobility. I'll give you those modifications as we go. Let's go through them one by one. Exercise number 1 is called the elevated ankle pump, and it is done seated with your legs raised above the level of your hips. Here is why we start here. Sitting with your feet flat on the floor puts your calf muscles in a relaxed, inactive position and keeps your legs at or below the level of your heart, which means blood is fighting gravity with no assistance. One of the best immediate interventions for reducing venous pooling in the lower legs is to elevate the legs while performing active ankle movements. Research published in Phlebology, one of the leading journals on vein health, has shown that leg elevation combined with active ankle exercises produces significantly greater improvements in venous return than either elevation or movement alone. So for this exercise, sit comfortably in a sturdy chair or on the couch. Place your feet up on a second chair, a footstool, or the edge of a coffee table, with a pillow or 2 tucked under your calves for support. Your legs should be elevated so that your heels are roughly at hip height or slightly above. This position alone reduces the pooling pressure in your lower leg veins simply by removing the gravitational disadvantage. From that position, I want you to imagine that you are pressing down on a gas pedal with your foot. Point your toes down and away from you as far as is comfortable, and then pull them back up toward your nose as far as you can. Down and back up. That is 1 repetition. This movement, the ankle pump, activates the muscles on both sides of your shin and ankle, including the tibialis anterior muscle on the front and the calf muscle complex, the gastrocnemius and soleus, on the back. Both of these muscle groups are closely involved in compressing the major veins of the lower leg. Every time they contract, they are squeezing blood upward through the veins. Perform 10 repetitions at a steady, comfortable pace. Not too fast, not too slow. You want to feel the muscles working through the full range of motion on each rep. So you are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then take a short break of about 10 seconds. Let your legs rest, and then do it again. 3 sets of 10 repetitions total, with a 10-second rest between each set. If you have reduced range of motion in your ankles due to arthritis or stiffness, do not force the movement. Work within a pain-free range. Even a small amount of ankle movement in an elevated position is significantly better than no movement at all. Over time, as circulation improves and the surrounding muscles strengthen, you may find that your available range of motion increases. 3 sets of 10 reps. That is the first 310 of the 3,310 method. Now, to help you stay on track with this routine, I have created a free printable exercise sheet that walks you through all 3 exercises with step-by-step instructions and photographs showing the exact positions. It also includes a simple daily tracker so you can mark off each day you complete the routine and build the habit over time. The link to download that is in the description below this video, completely free, no strings attached. A lot of my patients have told me that having something physical to look at and check off makes a real difference in consistency, so I encourage you to grab it. Moving on to exercise number 2. This one is done in a lying down position with your legs elevated above the level of your heart. And this position is particularly powerful for one specific reason. When your legs are elevated above your heart, gravity is no longer your enemy. It becomes your ally. Blood that has been pooling in the lower legs can drain passively back toward the heart, simply by the force of gravity working in the right direction for once. And when you combine that passive drainage with active muscle contractions, the effect on venous return is significantly amplified. A study published in the Journal of Vascular Surgery demonstrated that elevating the legs above heart level can reduce lower limb venous pressure by up to 70% within just minutes of assuming that position. For patients with chronic venous insufficiency, swelling, or varicose veins, even brief periods of supine leg elevation combined with ankle movement produced measurable reductions in lower limb circumference, meaning the swelling actually went down in as little as 10 to 15 minutes. Here is how to do exercise number 2. Start by lying down on a comfortable flat surface, your bed, a yoga mat on the floor, or a couch. Place a pillow under your head for comfort. Then put your feet up on the edge of a chair, the arm of a couch, a stool, or a firm stack of pillows. You want to position yourself so that your knees are roughly above the level of your abdomen and your legs form a bent, relaxed shape, what I describe to my patients as a Z shape when you look at the body from the side. Your hips are on the surface, your thighs go upward at an angle, your knees are bent, and your lower legs rest on the elevated surface. This is not just about circulation. This position also gently decompresses the lumbar spine and reduces pressure on the sciatic nerve, which makes it particularly valuable for patients who have low back pain, hip tightness, or sciatica, alongside their circulation concerns. From this position, perform the exact same ankle pump movement as in exercise 1. Push your toes down and away, then pull them back up toward your nose. 10 repetitions, take a 10-second rest, then repeat for 3 sets. 3 sets of 10, just as before. In this position, you may notice that the effort required feels slightly different than in the seated position, because the muscle activation pattern shifts slightly when the leg angle changes. That is intentional. By doing the same fundamental movement in multiple positions, we are recruiting the calf and shin muscles through a slightly different mechanical angle each time, which provides a more complete stimulus to the full muscle pump system. If getting down to the floor is difficult for you, this exercise can also be done on your bed with your feet propped up on pillows at the foot of the bed, raised as high as you can comfortably manage. The key principle is legs above heart level. The exact surface does not matter. I recommend this position to my older patients, particularly in the afternoon and evening, when venous pooling and swelling tend to be at their worst after a full day of sitting and standing. Even 15 minutes lying in this position with regular ankle pumping can visibly reduce ankle swelling and relieve that heavy, aching sensation in the legs. Think of it as a reset for your lower limb circulation. 3 sets of 10 repetitions. That is the second 310 of your 3,310 method. Now we get to exercise number 3. This one is done in a standing position, and it targets the calf muscle pump directly and forcefully in a way that neither of the previous 2 exercises can match. The calf muscles, particularly the 2 muscles that make up the calf complex, the gastrocnemius and the deeper soleus, are sometimes called the second heart. And after spending years studying and treating vascular conditions, I think that nickname is completely deserved. These are large, powerful muscles that are anatomically positioned directly alongside the major veins of the lower leg. When they contract forcefully, they create a significant squeezing pressure around those veins, pushing a substantial volume of blood upward with each contraction. In a healthy, active person, every step they take engages these muscles and pumps blood up the leg. But in a sedentary senior who is sitting most of the day, those muscles may go hours at a time without contracting meaningfully. Research from the American Heart Association has highlighted the calf muscle pump as one of the most important peripheral mechanisms for venous return and cardiovascular health in older adults. Studies have shown that targeted calf strengthening exercises in seniors produce measurable improvements in lower limb blood flow velocity, reductions in ankle swelling, and improvements in walking endurance, often within just 2 to 4 weeks of consistent practice. Exercise number 3 is the heel raise, performed on a step. Here is how to do it. Find a step. The bottom stair of a staircase in your home works perfectly. Stand on the edge of the step so that the balls of your feet, the padded area just behind your toes, are on the step, and your heels are hanging off the back edge. Hold on to the stair railing or place one hand on the wall for balance. This is non-negotiable. Do not attempt this exercise without having something stable to hold on to. From this starting position, slowly rise up onto your tiptoes, lifting your heels as high as you comfortably can. You should feel your calf muscles engage strongly as you rise. Hold at the top for just a moment, 1 count, and then slowly lower your heels back down, going below the level of the step so that your heels drop slightly lower than your toes. This downward phase gives you a gentle but effective stretch through the full length of the calf muscle, which improves flexibility and range of motion in addition to the circulation benefits. The stretch at the bottom is an important part of the movement. Do not skip it. The combination of the rise and the lowering, up onto your toes, and then down into the stretch, that is 1 complete repetition. The key is control. Go slowly, particularly on the way down. Slow, controlled lowering of the heel recruits more muscle fibers and creates more venous compression than a fast, bouncy movement. Perform 10 repetitions, rise up slowly, hold for 1 count at the top, lower slowly into the stretch at the bottom. That is 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. Then take a 10-second rest and repeat for 3 sets. If you have significant balance concerns or any condition affecting your feet or ankles that makes standing on a step edge uncomfortable, there is a simple modification. You can perform the heel raises on flat ground instead of on a step. You will not get the downward stretch component at the bottom of the movement, but the calf pump activation from simply rising onto your toes and then lowering back down on flat ground is still highly effective. Even seated calf raises, where you sit in a chair and repeatedly raise and lower your heels from the floor, provide meaningful calf muscle pump activation and are a valid starting point if standing heel raises are not yet accessible to you. 3 sets of 10 repetitions. That is the third and final 310 of your 3,310 method. So there you have it. That is the complete 3310 routine. 3 exercises in 3 different positions. Elevated ankle pumps seated with legs up, ankle pumps lying down with legs above heart level, and standing heel raises on a step. Each exercise is done for 3 sets of 10 repetitions, with a short rest between each set. The whole routine takes between 3 and 4 minutes from start to finish. Now let me talk for a moment about how to fit this into your day, because the sequencing and the timing actually matter more than most people realize. You have 2 options for how to structure the 3310 routine, and both are valid. The first option is to complete all 3 sets of 1 exercise before moving on to the next. So you do all 3 sets of elevated ankle pumps, then you move to the lying down position and do all 3 sets there, then you stand up and do all 3 sets of heel raises. This approach is straightforward and easy to track. The second option is to run the 3 exercises as a circuit. You do 1 set of elevated ankle pumps, then 1 set of lying down ankle pumps, then 1 set of heel raises, Then you go back to the beginning and do a second round of all three, and then a third round. This circuit approach keeps the blood moving more continuously and gives each position a chance to rest between sets, which some people find more comfortable. Either approach produces the same total volume of exercise. Choose whichever one suits your schedule and your body on a given day. As for when to do it, I recommend doing the 3-3-1-0 routine at least once per day, ideally in the morning to get your circulation moving after a night of being relatively still, or in the afternoon when pooling and swelling tend to increase. If you are someone who experiences significant swelling by the end of the day, doing the routine twice, once in the morning and once in the late afternoon, can produce noticeably faster results. And as I mentioned earlier, brief ankle pumping throughout the day, even 30 seconds every hour when you are sitting for extended periods, can make a significant difference in how your legs feel by evening. You do not need a step or a mat or any setup for that. Just lift your feet slightly off the floor and pump your ankles for 30 seconds. Your veins will thank you. Now let me tell you what to expect when you start the 3-3-1-0 routine consistently, because I know that when you are dealing with chronic leg heaviness, swelling, or discomfort, you want to know whether this is actually going to make a difference, and how quickly. In my clinical experience, the first thing most people notice is a reduction in that heavy, loaded feeling in the lower legs. Not necessarily a dramatic transformation overnight, but a sense that the legs feel lighter and more comfortable in the hours after doing the routine than they did before. This can happen within the first few days. Within 1 to 2 weeks of consistent daily practice, most people see a measurable reduction in ankle and lower leg swelling by the end of the day. The amount of fluid that accumulates over the course of a day is directly related to how well the venous return system has been working. When you strengthen the muscle pumps through the 3-3-1-0 routine and also take measures to elevate your legs and move regularly throughout the day, the fluid simply does not accumulate to the same degree. Within 3 to 4 weeks, the strength benefits begin to compound. The calf muscles, which are responsible for such a significant portion of the venous return work in the lower legs, become measurably stronger from consistent heel raise practice. Stronger calves mean a more powerful pump with every step you take, even outside of the dedicated exercise routine. This creates a positive feedback loop. The stronger your calf muscles become, the more efficiently your circulation works during all of your daily activity, not just during the exercises. Research published in the European Journal of Vascular and Endovascular Surgery followed older adults who performed targeted calf strengthening and ankle mobility exercises for 8 weeks. At the end of the 8-week period, participants showed significant improvements in walking speed, reduction in self-reported leg heaviness, and measurable increases in lower limb blood flow velocity on Doppler ultrasound imaging. These were not marginal improvements. They were clinically meaningful changes that affected the participants' daily function and quality of life. I want to be clear about something, because I think it is important. The 3-3-1-0 routine is a powerfully effective tool for improving leg circulation in the absence of serious underlying vascular disease. But if you are experiencing symptoms such as sudden significant swelling in one leg only, skin changes around the ankles including discoloration, hardening, or open sores, significant leg pain at rest, or that wakes you from sleep, or visible varicose veins that are causing pain or skin changes, I want you to speak with your doctor before starting this or any exercise routine. These symptoms can indicate conditions that require medical evaluation, including deep vein thrombosis, chronic venous insufficiency, peripheral artery disease, or cardiac causes of fluid retention. The exercises in this video are not a substitute for a proper medical assessment when those symptoms are present. For the majority of people watching this, though, the heavy legs, the mild to moderate ankle swelling that gets worse through the day, the sense that your legs just do not feel as good as they used to, those are the exact symptoms that the 3-3-1-0 method is designed to address. They are the natural result of aging muscle pumps in combination with a more sedentary lifestyle, and they respond beautifully to exactly this kind of targeted, consistent, low-impact movement routine. Let me leave you with one final thought, because I think it reframes everything we have talked about in a way that I hope will stick with you. Your legs are not simply two limbs that carry you from place to place. They are active participants in your cardiovascular system. The muscles in your legs, particularly your calves, are doing circulatory work every single time they contract. Every step you take is a pump. Every ankle movement is a squeeze that pushes blood upward against gravity. Your body designed it this way because for the vast majority of human history, people were on their feet and moving almost constantly. The circulation system in your legs evolved assuming that those muscle pumps would be active for most of the day. Modern life, and particularly the way many seniors spend their days, sitting in chairs and on couches for hours at a time, runs directly against that assumption. The result is pooling, swelling, heaviness, discomfort, and over time, a gradual decline in the efficiency of the entire venous return system. The 3-3-1-0 method is a way of giving your legs what they were designed to receive. Regular, graduated, position-varied muscle activation that keeps the pumps running, keeps the blood moving, and keeps your legs feeling the way they are supposed to feel. 3 exercises, 3 positions, 3 sets of 10 reps, 3 to 4 minutes a day. Start tomorrow morning, do it again the next day, and the day after that. Your legs will begin to respond faster than you expect, and within a few weeks, you will understand from personal experience exactly why I recommend this to every patient I see who comes to me with heavy, swollen, tired legs. Now that you know how to improve your circulation and get your legs feeling lighter and healthier, there is something even more powerful you can add to your daily routine. Did you know that with just a few simple exercises done at home, you can actually slow down the physical effects of aging and keep your body moving and feeling stronger than it has in years? Click on this video next to discover 5 of the most effective anti-aging exercises for seniors. They are gentle, they are safe, they are proven, and they are perfect for staying active, strong, and independent well past the age of 60. I will see you there.